Alright, what's up, everyone? We are talking about artificial intelligence, AI. Well, here we go. Let's talk about the outline. So, we're going to go back to our AI right sided handout, which looks like this. So, can you all please turn to that after I talk about the outline? After we go over the last parts of the outline, we're going to talk about programming good and evil, which is something that we were talking about originally here. Then, we're going to move into a Dan activity and then you're going to do a reflection on our assignment for today. So if you could all press pause, or one of you press pause on this, and go find your right-sided reflection, and then unpause, and we'll get right back to it. Okay, here we go. Now that we all have our sheets out, let's take a look at what we have here. So we talked about the different myths, and sometimes there's facts, and sometimes there are actual worries. I think we got to this myth. We just finished this. The mythical worry is AI turning evil or AI turning conscious, which means it becomes awake. And so that was a myth. But the actual worry is that we figured out that AIs don't turn evil and they don't turn conscious. It's just they turn competent, which means they can actually do stuff and their goals are misaligned with ours. So if our goal was quote unquote good, that doesn't mean that the AI is bad. It just doesn't have the same outcome or the same goal as ours. And that's what the worry is. That's what the real worry is, that it would start extinguishing us. So for example, we think that what we're doing in our lives are good. We're trying to, have cars to drive here and there, or using planes to fly from one side of the country to the other. And AI might actually think, uh-oh, these humans are making the earth worse by polluting it, taking away all of its resources. So you might eliminate humans. That's what the worry is, because our goal is to have a convenient lifestyle, where the AI goal is to protect the earth. So it might have a different goal, and we might have an actual worry there. All right, let's go through these. We won't take as long as we did with the first three. Hopefully you guys are taking notes or highlighting. Myth: robots are the main concern. So some people think, okay, well, robots and AI technology, that's the main concern. The fact is, the misaligned intelligence is the main concern. It's not the robots, it's not the AI, it's not the technology, it's misaligned intelligence is the main concern. It needs nobody, only an internet connection. So that means that when robots, AI, or technology go online and then it gets misaligned with any goals, that's the main concern. Not so much the robots themselves or the product, it's the fact that the intelligence gets misaligned. All right, what I mean is the understanding that the robot has, that goal that it sets, that should be the main concern. So we should always target the AI to always have the same goal as ours. All right, AI can't control humans. That's the myth. AI can't control humans because robots can't control us living human beings. Well, the fact is, intelligence enables control. We control tigers by being smarter. So we cage and train tigers and lions and bears sometimes for the circus. Who is going to say that robots can't do the same thing with us? And I'm not trying to scare everyone. It's just these are the things that we found out. So this is the myth that AI can't control humans. But the fact is, intelligence enables control. So us intelligent human beings control animals and cage them, right? What do you guys think about that? All right. I know there's a lot of talking from me, but when we get to the other things like programming good and evil and the Dan activity, you will definitely have your chance to have some conversations about our subjects. I know that the last discussion we had, especially for this, that took about half an hour. These three took up half an hour alone. And I'm going through these really fast, so I apologize. Now, machines can have goals. That's the myth. Machines can have goals. Well, the fact is, a heat-seeking missile has a goal. There's the target. Boom! That's the goal. So, machines can have goals is the myth. Fact is, a heat-seeking missile has a goal. So we know that machines can have goals. All right, and the last one, Superintelligence is just years away. Okay, myth. Superintelligence is just years away. But the actual worry, so this is the mythical worry, the actual worry is it's at least decades away, but it may take that long to make it safe. Okay, so just as long as we continue, forward planning to make the robots and the technology safe, it will be that long until superintelligence becomes a reality. So it's still far away, but I think what this is saying is that it could come sooner, but it's going to take a long time to still make it safe. So I know that we've talked about some things that could be alarming, but I just want to let you know, everyone's on top of things, so it's still decades away. And we're doing every precaution that we can to make sure that none of these facts or actual worries become a reality. All right. I would love for you to take some notes and highlight certain things here because you will be using some of those facts and worries in your reflection. So if you're not familiar with all of this right now, my suggestion is later you can ask me, post on Edmodo, or ask a neighbor. All right, so let me minimize this. Now let's start talking about programming good and evil. Let's start talking about programming good and evil. Before I do that, let me show you a clip. All right, so this is K2SO. He's from the Star Wars movie Rogue One, and he is a reprogrammed Imperial droid to now fight alongside of the rebels. What that means is he was, I guess, quote-unquote, one of the bad guys, and now he's one of the good guys. So let me show you this clip of him being reprogrammed, and I want you to start seeing how does the Rebel Alliance turn this robot into good, and how is he different if he was bad? And so let's try and figure out what he thinks is good and what he thinks is bad. Okay?
Congratulations. You are being rescued. I'm K2SO. I'm a reprogrammed Imperial droid.
I remember you.
I see the Council is sending you with us to Jeddah.
Apparently so.
That is a bad idea. I think so, and so does Kat. You're letting her keep it. Would you like to know the probability of her using it against you? It's high.
It's the fuel for the weapon.
The weapon your father's building.
Maybe we should leave target practice behind.
Are you talking about me? I'm an Imperial droid. The city is under Imperial occupation.
And hit me.
Doesn't sound so bad to me. Did you know that wasn't me? There are a lot of explosions for two people blending in.
Freeze! Right there!
You're right. I should just wait on the ship. I am taking them to imprison them in prison.
He is taking us to...
Quiet! Cassian, I'm sorry about the slap.
Go back to the ship.
Although there's a problem on the horizon. There's no horizon. I haven't completed my calculations.
I'll make them for you.
One blast to the reactor module and the whole system goes down. That's how you said it. The whole system goes down.
Get to work fixing their comms!
Jin, I'll be there for you. Cassian said I had to. I've got a bad feeling about it.
Quiet.
What?
All right, now let's get back into our artificial intelligence mind map. Programming good and evil. Now, how do we program artificial intelligence versus with good versus evil? We're going to take a look at 2 points. What makes AI good or evil, right? So when we've seen the movies of Star Wars, I'm going to show you some examples of Empire droids. And here are some of them. Here is an Empire R2 unit, and he's evil because he's painted in black. And here is BB-8's cousin, BB-98, and I don't know, like, is it because they paint them black? I don't understand. What makes them evil? And you just saw K2SO in a darker color, and we have characters like this adorable one, And obviously, you can see who the good guy is versus the bad guy, right? Because there's a heart. Here's a BB-8 right there. So what makes them actually good and evil? That's a question that you will have to answer. And we're going to go through some examples of um, definitions of good, definitions of evil. Let's figure this out through some activities that you're going to do in your groups. So let me minimize this. Let's do the 5 W's over here. The 5 W's of who, what, where, when, why. And what I want to do is start backwards with the why. All right, so here's a question that I want you to discuss with your group. I'm going to give you just a few minutes, actually not even a minute. I'm going to give you 1 minute just to see all the ideas that you can come up with as a group table. And I'm going to have the teacher pause this when I'm supposed to give you time. I'll give you a cue, and we'll probably just pick from the popsicle sticks 1 or 2 tables and see what you discussed. All right, you cannot pass. I want you all engaged in what the question is, and I want you all discussing, and I want everyone in your groups to understand what you are talking about, because you're going to be representing your group to the front of the class. Actually, not the front, just representing your group in the class where you are seated. Okay, so here's a question. Why do you think programmers would need to create a value system for AI? Like, why do you think programmers need to create a good characteristic or a bad characteristic for them to understand? Like, why does it have to be good or bad? Why do their goals have to align with rebels or the Empire? For example, think in Star Wars. Why would the rebellion or the Empire First Order need to separate bad droids from good droids? So like we were talking about K2SO, why was he reprogrammed? Why couldn't he just be K2SO and keep doing what he's doing? So why do you think programmers would need to create a value system? So value system is good or bad for AIs. All right, press pause, and the sub will give you 1 minute to discuss, and then pick a popsicle stick for one person to represent. Press pause. Okay, hopefully that discussion went really well. Let's move on to the when. When is it appropriate to program AI to have a value system of good or evil? So I know you talked about the why was important. Now, when is it appropriate? Okay, so when is it a good time to have a system of good or a system of evil? Maybe we can even just call it bad. Evil is so far onto the other side. For example, when is it appropriate? Is it appropriate when to do it when you know cities or the world is at war? Is it appropriate when we're protecting our city or our country, like saying having like a border patrol or especially law enforcement? So when do you think it's important to have a value system of good or evil? All right, feel free to press pause. Okay, hopefully that discussion was really good. All right, and if the discussion actually is really good, I will let you guys put your hands up, or the sub can pick popsicle sticks, but I want to make sure that you're all not shouting out. Please put up your hand, because we know how to discuss in our class. Everyone's opinion is valid, and I would love for you to put your hand up so everyone can have a voice. But the sub does have a responsibility to keep moving on with some of these questions. But if the discussion is really good, feel free to take longer on some of these questions. Okay, where does good and evil originate from? Ooh, that one might be a long one that you would be discussing. Where does good and evil originate from? What is the origin of good and evil? Like, how does the Empire come up with their value system? Like, where does that come from? Where is that rooted in? Where does the rebels say that we're not going to be part of the Empire, so what we're doing is good? Where does the values of good and evil come from? And I'm going to give you another minute to talk, and when you're ready, the sub will be able to pick 1 or 2 popsicle sticks. If they feel they should have more, then do more. Press pause now. Okay, so hopefully that discussion was really good. Let's keep going with this. What now? What is the definition of good and evil? Now this is going to be interesting because everyone might have a different definition of it. What is the definition of good and evil? So what is good? Like, how do you know what's good? Like the Empire, you haven't seen the episodes, but the Empire did want to control the world in order to make it better, right? But some people think it's evil. Why would controlling it be evil? When the Empire thinks it's actually good, why is it evil? And the Empire thinks the rebels are evil. Why? Because they're rebelling. They're going against the majority. They're going against the Republic. So the Empire thinks the rebels are evil, but the rebels think they're good. And when we watch those movies, we think the good guys are the guys like Luke Skywalker and them destroying the Death Star. But in reality, they're the rebels. Can you be in between? Right? Can you be in between? Is there an in between? Can you be in between these? All right. What is the definition of good and evil? Press pause now. All right. So here we go. Let's close this one up. Hopefully that discussion was really good. And last but certainly not least, who decides what good and evil is for the AI? Who decides? As a programmer, should it be one person that decides it? Should it be a group of people? Who's objective? Or let's say, who is a person who is fair enough to say what is good and what is evil? The benefits of having one person is you don't have to argue with anyone else. But the drawback is, what if that person isn't objective enough or isn't fair enough to judge what the situation is? Or should it be a group of people? You know, the great part of having a group of people, you'll have different opinions. The bad part of it is you'll have different opinions. You might not be able to decide what good and evil is. As you've seen, maybe everyone's come up with different definitions of good and evil and where it comes from. So discuss in your group. Who decides what good and evil is for the AI? Should it be a person? Should it be a group? Am I missing a point here? It's up to you. Who is objective enough to say what is good and evil, what is evil? Go ahead and discuss. Press pause now. All right, that's fantastic. Let's close this up. Hopefully you had some great discussions, and in those discussions, you're going to be using all the points or many of the points to do your reflection later for your formative assignment. All right, but before we do that, let's do a couple DAN activities. All right, so let's start up some DAN activities. Okay, we're going to go straight into this DAN activity, Programming Artificial Intelligence. Now, at this point, I'm not sure what time it is, but if this takes the rest of the block, fantastic. If you're not able to get to the reflection, that's fine if the discussion is good. However, if this discussion is not as fruitful as what we've usually had with the DAN activities, then whatever time we have for the reflection would be good. I'll make the reflection due at least 3 or 4 days from now. So you have that guarantee. So it'll either be Wednesday or Thursday. But I'll definitely put that in Moto. I'll talk to the sub and see how far you got in today's lesson. So again, if programming artificial intelligence was DAN activity took up too much time and you couldn't get to the reflection, I'll make it due later. But if you go through this really quickly and you do have time to work on the reflection today, then it'll be due just a bit sooner. But make sure that everyone's respectful. Make sure that everyone pays attention to the hands that are raised. If you feel like you have changed your opinion on certain things and you want to move around, do it in between people's opinions. Okay, don't walk as they are moving. Do it at the end of their opinions. And the sub will be able to call on you if you have your hand up. And please don't shout out, and let's respect everyone's opinions. Okay, so let's talk about programming artificial intelligence. Here is the first part I want to talk about. If you disagree, you're going to head to the benches. Ooh, you know what? That might not work. So let's change benches to, okay, if this is the homework board, if this is, let's see, disagree, let's say, oops, let's go, disagree, front of room. Does that fit? Okay, so if you disagree, you're going to go to the front of the room. If you agree, you're going to go to the door. And if you are neutral, you're going to go to the homework board. Let's get to the first question. So, disagree, front of room. Agree, door, homework board is neutral. Point to the front of the room, everyone. That's if you disagree. Point at the door, everyone. That's where you agree. And homework board is neutral. So make sure that there's a divide between disagree and agree, right? So if you're at the door, maybe stay closer to the code hooks in the door. In front of the room, go closer to the outboxes. Okay, first question. There are currently evil or bad robots in our society today. In today's society, there are currently evil or bad robots. Go. So if you chose disagree, you're going to the front of the room, agree to the door, neutral, homework board. Press pause now, and the sub will call on hands to discuss. All right, let's get to the next question. The next question is, if a robot was programmed to steal food for a hungry family, the robot is still evil. Maybe not still evil. The robot is evil. If the robot was programmed to steal food for a hungry family, the robot is evil. Don't move. Think about it. All right. Front of the room is disagree. Agree is the door. Neutral is the homework board. Go. Press pause now and discuss. Okay. Here we go. Next question. Hopefully you are all paying attention to the sub, and I'm sure that the sub is taking notes for me to read of those who are calling out and not paying attention. Here we go. If a robot was programmed to steal food, very similar to the other one, for a hungry family, it is now the programmer for the robot is evil. So the programmer for the robot is evil. Not the robot, the programmer. Disagree, agree, neutral. Go. Press pause now. All right. Hopefully you're having some great discussions. And again, if this takes you to the end of the day, that's fine too. I want you to talk about this because this will be information that you will use during your reflection time. Next question. AI destroys all airplanes and gas-powered cars because it is causing too much pollution for the earth. That AI is considered good. If you disagree, go to the front of the room right now. If you agree, go to the door. If you're neutral, homework board. Go to your places now. Press pause on this video. Okay. Next question. If humans went to war against AI because they stopped obeying orders, it is the humans who are evil. If you disagree, go to the front of the room. Agree, go to the door. Neutral, go to the homework board. All right. Hopefully you had some great discussions. That ends the Dan activity. Now let's get back to this. Everyone have a seat. I am glad that you had some great discussions. Here is the reflection and your homework. I'll put a post on Edmodo what this all is, but before I put it on there, can you all just have a seat, pay attention, and I want you to reflect back on today's activities. Hopefully you had some great discussions within your groups and also within your class during the Dan activity. You always have your AI right side handout to look over as well. You're going to be writing a one-page fully revised, fully edited piece of work, and I want you to have a rough copy and a good copy, fully edited, so that many of you can bring up your achievement levels for language and literature. So I'll give you that opportunity to do that. This is a formative assessment, and here it is. You are now an AI programmer. You need to choose a side, whether you're the Rebel Alliance or the Empire. So the first thing you're going to do is choose a side. Are you one of the rebels, like Luke Skywalker and Han Solo? Or are you part of the Empire, like Darth Vader and Darth Maul and who else was the last one? Kylo Ren. How would you program the newest droids in your disposal to understand good and evil? Okay, how would you program the newest droids to understand good and evil? Now let's go to the next part. How will the droid understand the difference between Empire and rebel, the Rebel Alliance. Remember, if you choose to be the Empire, then Empire is good and the rebels are evil. So how do you program the droid to know the difference between the two? For example, if, like I just said here, if you are choosing to be part of the Empire, then the rebels in the Empire's sights are evil. Okay, because the Empire is good. You want the robots or the AI or the technology to listen to the Empire because they are good, right? Quote unquote good. And so, how do you program them? What values do you teach these or program these robots or AI? What value system? What perspective? How do you go on programming these robots to know what the difference between the two are, good and evil, or rebel versus empire? You are going to write about 1 page, so that's about 300 words max. Okay, do not go 301 words, do not go 302 words. And I know Stefan's probably thinking, what if I go 300 and 0.5 words? No, 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 300 words max, all right? You're going to be using evidence from the activities we have done this past unit. So basically what we've done today and just other discussions we've had in the past. I will also be assessing your writing for L&L for producing text. Please edit and revise and type a good copy to submit to Edmodo. You are typing a good copy in Edmodo. All right? I don't want your rough copy. I want a good copy that is edited for grammar and spelling and revised to make sure that you're taking things away or putting things in to make your paragraphs and your structure better. Do not write one huge paragraph the whole page. I want you to separate it into your thoughts and ideas into every paragraph. We've talked about this in the past and I don't have to go through it again. So here we go again with the question. You're going to choose one side, rebel or empire. Then you're going to try and understand how would you program the newest droids to understand good and evil. You're also going to add how will the droid understand the difference between the empire and the rebels. Okay, so this is basically the parts that I want you to answer, and you're going to use evidence from what we talked about today. You're going to support all your opinions with facts, and you can research it, but you can also just use the information that we've gone through in this unit. You're going to write about 1 page, which is about 300 words max. So you can be between, you know, a third of a page to a full page, or about 200 to 300 words. All right. If you have any questions, feel free to text on Edmodo. You have the rest of this block to do all of this stuff, and when your substitute teacher asks you to start cleaning up, please do so in a quiet and timely manner. I know that we won't have our cleanup song ready, but you're stacking your chairs, you're cleaning up all your like pencils and scrap paper and things on the floor around you. You're also making sure your desks are straight, and you are leaving the class or my house in the nice, pristine, clean fashion that I always like it. I know you're going to do your best. Please finish strong for this substitute and show your sub what Division 15 is made out of. Show what Division 15 is all about, being respectful of your teachers and being respectful of the classroom. All right, have at it. It's time for your reflection. Thanks for listening.